What's up, guys? I'm Grant.
Tash.
Welcome to Indiebnb.
We're going to take a wild trip all the way to the great state of Alaska today with our main man from Medium Build. Little disclaimer, guy, he's hanging out in the parking lot talking to us, loses some power from his cell phone, but at the end of the day, we still had a great time with him, and hopefully we'll get him back on the podcast. Let's get this thing going.
Yeah, pretty cold up there. Put your hoods up.
All right, welcome back to Indiebnb. We have a very special guest today, all the way from Alaska, Mr. Nick Carpenter of Medium Build. Nick, what's going on, my man?
What's up, Tash? What's up, Grant? Thanks for having me. Not much, sitting in a parking lot in Anchorage, just looking at some snow, bro.
Enjoying the view. Hell yeah, dude. So, Anchorage, what's the scene like in Anchorage?
Well, there's not a ton of people, so like anyone that makes anything creative, we all know each other. We all hang out, we all reach out, like we all collaborate. I don't know. There's like 2 open mics, and you got to hit the open mic. That's what I did when I moved here. I just hit the open mic, met everybody, and that was it. And then you're in.
You just did.
But it's small town. It's like bad gas travels fast. Like it's real small. You bump people a lot.
But is there a pretty good music scene there?
Oh yeah, man. There's tons of good like metal and shit. Like there's a lot of like folk. It's weird. It's like Alaska's kind of like the end of the world. So there's a lot of folk, and then there's like a lot of like metalheads out here. Like a lot of like, I don't know, just noise bands, just weird shit.
It's freaking cold here!
Yeah. Dude, just like spit, like purposely just trying to get the amps to feedback all day.
Just turn it up to 11 and rock it out. See what happens.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So, what brought you to Alaska? I'm sure you get asked this in every interview you do, but it's an interesting question. I don't think I've ever even met anyone from Alaska. So
right, and it's totally granted. I mean, I had a brother up here, and my brother was up here for a fishing job, and he loved it, man. He's my big bro. He's my, he's 6.5 years older than me, and we grew up together. So I just wanted to be near him. So I rolled out here, and we fucking hung out. And we came up here for like a summer and a winter, and I hated it, and I moved back. And then he stayed here, had a kid, got married, and then after college, I was burnt out, man. I was burnt out with music, burnt out with I just got out of a long relationship, and so I rolled up here. But I thought it was just going to be a summer, but then it was not. And then it's been 5 years.
And you can never leave. I think that's how it works.
I'm pretty sure, right? It's like if you leave, then you die. It's a final destination type thing.
It's such a long drive. By the time you get there, your life's pretty much over anyways, right?
Exactly, dude.
Hell yeah. So how did you mentioned you were playing open mics, and then was that kind of how the band originated? You just started meeting people and were like, hey, let's play together?
Yeah, so like I had started Medium Build technically back in Murfreesboro in Atlanta. One of my classmates moved down to Atlanta, and I was still in Murfreesboro, and so I was driving down like once a month and just would pay him with like a couple beers and like cigarettes, and then we would record. He would record me for like a weekend, and mainly I was just trying to get more raw sounding stuff. Which that led kind of like, school, everyone at school was like pretty technical, and I just didn't have those chops. So I was like, dude, I just want to record the song. Just put the mic in front of me. I don't care what it sounds like. So that was me and this guy from Atlanta, Alan Lyle. And then I moved up here, and I found my next bandmate at the open mic. He was running sound at open mic, and he was like, yo, I know the players. We can make this happen. So it worked out.
Yeah. And like, you said you wanted to sound raw, and that's one of the first things I noticed about your band was sort of, first off, your lyrics are sound very vulnerable and very, just open about probably experiences you've had in your life, and then you know y'all don't really blend into a genre. You just kind of like sounds good, we roll with it. I don't care if it fits into one box. Is that
Exactly. Exactly. I don't care. I listen to everything. So what comes out is everything. Country, pop, R&B, metal, whatever, folk. It's all the same.
Yeah, Grant kind of got me on you. He heard your song. He's obsessed with I Love Cherry. That's like his favorite song of the year so far. And
Hell yeah.
that's what got us turned on. And so that was just such a funky little groove, and then kind of gets weird at the end. And that just seems like it is the epitome of medium build. Is that song?
Yeah, truly. Like we just that's my old bandmate James, man. Like we've been producing together for the past like 4 years, and we just love scene changes, you know, like we love like Frank Ocean's song Pyramids, like, you know, where it's just like songs melt into other shit. Like I think we both listened to a lot of stoner rock when we were in high school, and so now it's like we melted into our own version of like indie pop. Is like, you know, how long can this song go, and how long can we keep people interested? And our shows, like we try to jam a lot, and so that's it kind of translates from the shows too. Like I like for it to be like off the cuff and kind of like intriguing and pull you in, and also weird. I like weirding people out.
Yeah, that song sounds like Kid Cudi was somehow involved with that song.
Oh man, that's amazing. I approve of that, dude.
Like in the best way possible, Kid Cudi was somehow involved with like the transmission of that song.
That's the goal, man.
So what does the songwriting process look like for you?
Let's see. Sorry, I'm muted. Mainly, I was gonna say like I'm one way or the other, but like it started out just like I would write lyrics down and then I would try to put chords on top of it. And then when I met James, he's sort of the mastermind behind like, so I showed up to Alaska and I had like my first 2 albums out. And then when I met James, we started co-writing. So he would make tracks, and then I would write on top of them. Like, so, and that's kind of how they do it in Nashville and in LA. Like, is that it's called top lining, where like someone makes a track and then I just put it on and I put a lyric and melody over it. And sometimes there's already a melody on it when you get it in like LA or whatever in the pop thing. But I like putting my own melody on. I like trying to fit my own words on. But my writing process is just write. I try to write words every day, and I try to like put my hands on a guitar or piano every day. But like you said earlier, man, my whole goal is that it's vulnerable and then it's raw. Like the music, like it can go either way. Like I feel like I'm on the cusp of making a folk album or like a fucking pop album either day, you know, like depending on the weather, depending on like which version of my mom or my dad I want to channel. Like my mom was all into oldies and shit. My dad was all into like Southern rock and like, you know, like country and stuff. And so I feel like I'll drift one day, you know, because I love Cherry. And my mom's like, yeah. Then one day I'm like, you know, talking about like, you know, eating pills and fucking dying. My dad's like, hell yeah, dude. So, yeah, I just try to keep it authentic. That's the goal.
Yeah, and I really started noticing that when I listened to Soft Boy and Rough Boy, and like was that sort of a concept where there's supposed to be like an A and B side?
Yeah, I mean, James and I made those like literally in one summer, and we realized that it wasn't done. So that's why we kind of made it a continuation, like because we were just trying to make one record, but then it ended up feeling like there was a bunch of leftovers. And yeah, and I think we at the time we had both quit drinking, and so we were manic sober. Like we just had we were so bored. We were like, what do we do if we're not partying? And so I feel like you can hear it through those 2 albums. Like Soft Boy is sort of dark and kind of angry, and then like I feel like that's us trying to get good at being sober. And then like by the time Soft Boy or Rough Boy came out, we were like, all right, this is fine. All we have to do is just like smoke a ton of weed and drink a ton of seltzer water, and here we are, you know, a little happier on that one. But yeah, they're definitely like brother sister.
Yeah, and what would you say like is your main instrument? Is it guitar, piano?
Definitely started on guitar. But the past 2 years it's probably been more piano. But also I used to play bass in the band. I play bass in the band currently, but bass was my first instrument in orchestra, and so bass is definitely like the thing that I love. But now I just got a drum set, so I'm learning drums. I'm recording myself playing drums, man. Yeah, I don't know.
I just know like I play guitar and I love hearing your tone is just like, I love it. It's all over the place. And it seems like it can change like within like first 30 seconds. And then like the next 45 seconds is like a completely different tone. And it's so fucking cool to me.
Yeah.
And I guess that kind of goes along with what your goal was. Just if it sounds good, you play it. And that's one of the things I love about your band is just how fluid it is. It doesn't seem like y'all run into any stop signs ever.
And when we do, it's only because it doesn't feel good, you know? Like I'd say that's probably the biggest challenge is like, I want the song to feel, I want to like, for lack of a better word, like I want to be turned on, I want to be like, think the song is hot as well, like I don't want it to be like, I know this is going to be successful, so here it is, but I think I hate it and I'm bored. It's like, I want it to feel awesome. I want to play it in the car after it comes out and I'm still not sick of it. Like, I want to be excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something with that, I mean, like anytime you make any music, does it feel like you everything's gonna make you excited because you got to play it live? Like, talk to me about your process from getting like, a song you create. I Love Cherry. I think that song probably smashes live because it's you want to get up and dance like a 70s dance tune. But like, when you make songs, like, do you think about how they're gonna sound live and what you have to do, to make them, that transition?
That has honestly not been ever something we thought about, but I think now I'm thinking about it, right? Now that we're finally playing big shows, now that I'm like touring in non-COVID times, like now I'm like, man, what do I want to play every night? What do I want to sing? What's in the right key? What's like fun for people to sing along to? Like, what's a bass line that like any bass player I hire can play? Because like, when I first started recording shit, I wanted it to be crazy. I wanted everything to be fucking nebulous and like, oh, it's such cool chords, like everyone, and now I'm like, no. Like, what's the easiest play we can run, but also the most powerful, like, I think I'm thinking a little more longevity now. I Love Cherry, it does slap live. I mean, it was hard. We were a trio when that song came out, so it was kind of hard for us to get all the pieces. Now we've got another player, but yeah, I mean, I just honestly, they always end up being like a journal dump of where I'm at, and then the tones are a mixture of me and whoever I'm hiring to produce or mix. Like for I Love Cherry, that's James. Like James went to town on that song. James went to town on Fat Broke Loser. James went to town on like a lot of Rough Boy and Soft Boy. But now the new ones I've been doing with these guys in Murfreesboro, Paul and Jimmy, like Corolla and Another Man. And so just like it depends on a lot of those tone things. Like I kind of will outsource because I'm like, I get the song to a point where I know it's the intention is there, and then I just hope that they're gonna honor it. Like that's what I'm just always putting it in the ether, being like, all right, I made a good enough demo where the vibe I'm chasing, like the beat is like this, like kind of like rolls like this, or like the tones are scary or they're kind of 80s or they're sad. Like I want you to feel what I'm going for, and then I let other people paint. But sometimes that's frustrating when people don't paint how you want to paint, but that's also the kind of the fun of collaborating.
Yeah, and I can see that because like it seems like every album you have has a different feel to it. From your first album, you could have told me any song on that was a different band, and I'd have been like, yeah, that's not the same band playing 2 times in a row. But then you get Wild, and it seems like it could have been like a hip hop album almost.
Yeah.
And was that something y'all were kind of going for, like sort of a more, funky album?
No, man, honestly, like that's just me progressing, and like I'm always, I mean, hip hop is like the first thing that like really inspired me to make a band, like, and to make Medium Build. Honestly, I don't really talk about this a lot because people don't really ask, but like I started Medium Build literally. I was in the shower one day and I was listening to Odd Future, and I was like, man, these beats are so bad. Like a lot of that early Tyler, early Earl stuff is so bad. Like, but it's so good. It's so raw. It's so real. And I was like, damn, dude. I was like, I fuck with this. Like, I could do this. And I was like, I'm gonna make a beat, And so like, I always make beats. Like that sounds lame, but like songs usually start with me. I make a beat and then I see what I go through my lyrics and I like scan through my notes folder and I try to find a lyric that fits over the beat. But I'm so drum and beat, like drum and bass motivated, like Earl, Tyler, obviously like early Kanye, Frank, like a lot of that shit fucking that you listen to in college. I was listening to a bunch of like Wu-Tang and Talib Kweli and just shit that you like, where the beats are really simple, but the lyrics are really deep. Like that was my goal. I was like, man, I'm never going to be a producer. No one's ever going to call me and be like, yo, I need you to remix this Shawn Mendes track. Like, I'm not that good at that stuff. But if they were like, yo, I need you to tell me like the deepest guts of your soul over this really shitty soul sample, I'm like, I got you. Like,
hey, but your avenues, you know what you're strong
right,
at, what you're not strong at, and
totally.
I was thinking that it sounded like, do you use a lot of loops when you're making songs and stuff?
Absolutely. I'm totally loop driven, man. Funny thing is that like I didn't have a big I use Pro Tools, which is not super loop friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Logic is more loop friendly. Ableton is obviously more loop friendly, but like that's just what I learned Pro Tools at MTSU, and so that just became where I work. And I'm never good enough to play the line for 3 minutes, right? If I write a sick bass line, like to get a 3-minute take of it that's right for the track, it's impossible. It's not impossible. I did it for the first record. I was playing everything through, but then I was like, you know what? I ain't doing this shit no more. I'm looping this shit. Let's get to the point. Even now that I got the drum set, like I'm getting better at playing drums, but I'm still not good enough to play longer than 16 bars. Like I'm not, I'm only good for this. Like I got this one beat in me, and then I'm like, all right, cut it, find it, slide that snare over, and then I'm like, all right,
it's impossible. I mean, you miss one and the whole song's messed up.
Right. And so, yeah, I just like to write, man. That's why loops are super helpful for me, so I can get to the part that I love, which is putting lyrics on it and singing.
Yeah, your lyrics seem to be. I mean, I love the musical composition of your songs, but your lyrics are what really stick out to me. And like, Your Boy, that's one of the most like vulnerable songs I think you have. And what was sort of, if you don't want to get too deep into it, what was sort of the inspiration of writing that song?
Dude, that's just a classic breakup tune, man. Like, before you break up, it's just like I think James actually made that beat, and James sent it to me. And I went to the park. I go to this park and I walk my dog all the time. And I was went to the park and just walked like this. There's this 3-mile loop, and I just walked it twice. I just had the headphones in. And I was just trying to put something over it. And I had written like a line. A lot of times I'm going to bed and I think of a line and I'll write it down. And I think I had written in my phone, do you only love me when I make you happy? Like just a classic, like you're driving and your girlfriend and you are fighting and you're like, God damn it. Like, fuck that. And you kind of like, I like always reach down and like, I got a lyric in bed. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like trying not to wake her up. But yeah, no, I mean, that's the feeling, dude. Like, when you're with someone and you feel isolated from them, it's like, do you love me for me? Do you actually love me because I'm cool? Do you love me because I'm like, your therapist? How are you using me and how am I using you? And that tends to be a dynamic I come back to a lot. I think a lot of my songs are spurred from me feeling some type of way about a friendship, a relationship. I mean, I write a lot about my friends. I write a lot about like my brother and like all my exes, and even just people you like meet and hook up with, or even just have a long conversation with at a bar. Like I'll just get some type of feeling from it, because it's that new energy. You rub souls with someone and they say some fucked up shit and you're like, I'm gonna write that shit down. Like so I try to write down all that stuff.
And you seem to do a great job, like especially in Your Boy to Me, you do a great job of taking the lyric and the emotion that you're trying to portray and matching it with the melody. That was just such a like cold melody that just, it feels melancholy, it feels sad. And that's, you seem to have a real gift for matching the lyric to how you want it to sound. And
Thanks,
even
man.
that video of yours of like, I just watched it where you're like, you're being like pulled behind the tricycle, and like it was funny, but like it's still like you were still able to capture like the emotion of that song.
Yeah, dude, I grew up in church, and like in like a pretty like charismatic, non-denominational type dance and rock band church, and like you had to bring the heat, man, or else people weren't going to get saved. And like I never lost that. And then I was in theater in high school, and I was in like the musical and shit, and like you just kind of remember that, like I want the songs to feel as potent as they did the first time I wrote them.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that's hard, but I think it's worth it, like for the end user to like have the artifact of like someone really just kind of like dying on the track, like it's a lot more helpful. Like, and it may not always be what you want to listen to, but like if you are in a relationship where you feel trapped and like Be Your Boy just like shows up on your shuffle or whatever, I feel like it's pretty damning, like if you're like, damn, I can feel this. And on the melody shit, dude, I try. The melodies are hard. That's my my biggest struggle, is finding good melodies. Because sometimes that's why I will fall into those hip hop cadences where I'm just like riding that one note, just kind of going on this one note thing, like I do on I Just Want You, like stuck in on a USB. It's like I only got one note. I'm just like, yeah, my words are so good. I don't even have to find a melody. But that's the struggle. Trying not to just fall into like the corny shit.
Mm-hmm. What's next for Medium Build? Y'all released a couple singles last year. Y'all looking at doing an album again, or what's the plan?
Yeah, I've got 2 singles coming up. I think we're looking at late March, April, and then maybe another one in May. And then I'm recording right now for an album. So the sound's changing a little bit. I finally got my own studio. Me and James, the guy that did like Rough Boy and Wild, we broke up in COVID, kind of just kind of wanted to do different things. Like he's kind of wanting to go into like some really proggy, like Peter Gabriel type land, like kind of a lot of 80s stuff. And I was not really as inspired by the 80s stuff. And I was feeling a lot more drawn to like folk and like kind of country shit that I came up on. And so we just started, we realized we were like sending each other demos all quarantine. It was like, dude, I don't think either of us want to be on each other's tracks. So we've kind of pushed it down. So I finally have my own studio that's all me. And right now I'm just trying to play everything, and I'm trying to just kind of lean in and see what happens. Again, I'm on like my storytelling tip. I mean, that sounds corny, but I'm trying to say more in less time. Like I've taken notes from like hip hop again. Like Kendrick is the ultimate storyteller, and so I'm trying to tell those stories. Like instead of just mining my own personal trauma, I'm like, okay, well, what about the stories around me? Like, like I can't talk about Compton, but I can talk about like alcoholics sitting in a bar. I'm a bartender when I'm not playing music, so I can talk about that. I can talk about relationships. I can talk about like hard living and my version of it. I can talk about friendships and romances. And so I think you're going to see a lot more storytelling. I think you're going to see a lot more acoustic guitar, a lot more like raw drums. Like imagine if it was like, but see, I'm still making loops, but I'm making them out of like more natural instruments. So I'm looping up acoustics, I'm looping up real drum sets, I'm looping up bass, but I'm micing the bass up. I'm throwing a mic on everything right now. I'm mic'd like my homie knocking on like a chair the other day. Like that's where I'm at right now.
So it seems like you're starting to. It's like you've always been a musician, but you're kind of taking the step to become more of, I guess, an artist would be the word. Just kind of really refining your craft. Is that kind of what you're attempting to do at this point?
Yeah. I kind of want to step out into like the next level where I am like a producer of sorts, like where I do have a vision, like a lot of times, like I said, I've had a partner, even back in the old days, like the shit that's on Bandcamp, it's not even on Spotify. Like I always had a homie sitting there, like kind of turning the knobs or kind of being like yes or no. And I love that. And I've needed that for a long time, but I just want to see what I make without that, like see if I can really dream up some like Spielberg ass shit in my own head. And I don't know, it's a little scary. I'm afraid of scaring people off. Like if they're here for like the huge drums or the huge productions, like if they love I Love Cherry and they love Be Your Boy, like what's gonna happen if they get like a weird acoustic thing, like, but I just have to know, I have to know that I can do some shit on my own.
I think you got no worries on that, man. Because like I said, you're from the very beginning, you've just been evolving, and you're not in a box. Like you're not some band like Poison that's just 80s hair metal. You make anything different than that, people are like, what the hell is this? Like I think you could come out and literally make a country rap album and people be like, yes, this is what we expected next. And I think you have no worries, or you should have no fears of branching out to anywhere, because to me, you've never been boxed in, and that's a great thing to me. It's just that you're not afraid to go down any avenue and try. It sounds like it sounds cool. Shit, let's put it on the album and ride with it. See what happens. People like it or they don't like it. And if you like it, then what difference does it make? And we were talking about this a couple weeks ago. We had the Death Valley Girls on here, and I'd listened to this interview with Josh Homme from Queens of the Stone Age, and he basically said, the second you expect anything from music, you're already like losing, basically. And so, what do you expect from music?
Nothing, man. I expect me to get in it. Music's my therapy. Music's like free therapy. Music is like a mirror. A lot of times I won't realize like what I've processed until I get it on a song. And I'll be playing it. I'll go over to my parents' house. They moved up here now. So I'll like drive over to my parents' house and I'll play them like a new demo. And like I won't realize till I'm playing it for someone else's ears. I'm like, damn, this is really dark. Or like, damn, this is like on some real cool shit. Or like this is really loud. Or like, oh, that lyric's way too vulnerable. Like I need music. Like I need it. Like fucking people need yoga. I don't expect anything. I just use it. Mm-hmm. It's a tool to me.
Yeah, and I think that's what he was trying to say. And it's easy for a guy like Josh Homme who's playing, arena tours to be like, yeah, I don't expect anything from music. I just love playing it. But for someone who's not playing arena tours and it's you're working other jobs and stuff, it's refreshing to hear that you're not setting out to be the next big band in the world, is what it says. It sounds like you're doing this because you love it, and I think that really shows through your music.
I'm just stoked that I'm almost 30 years old and I still play music. Like I've had tons of homies that have fallen off and quit, but like my goal is I was like, I'm gonna give it till I'm 30. That was it. I'm 29, but like I told myself like I'm gonna really try until I'm 30, and like now finally I'm starting to see fruit, and it's like, well, damn, I'm not gonna quit now. Like I got people paying attention. Like I guess I should double down. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna buy another 5 years. Like, but it's just cool that people fuck with it. It's obviously when you're the goal and you're a kid is like to be a superstar, but like once you pass the age of 25, I'm pretty sure you're just like, all right, I'm an idiot for continuing to do this, but I will continue. Because you see kids, 17-year-old kids blow up every day, and it's like, I'm not billboard material per se. I'm sure I'm someone's 10, but I'm not like the world's. Starbucks ain't gonna throw me on the cup to sell it, So I'm just happy I can still play. I'm happy people listen to it. I'm happy I can go play shows. I think it's unreal. I'm beyond #blessed, as my mom would say.
Hell yeah, dude. And y'all got any, I know nobody knows what the hell COVID's going to do, but do y'all have any plans to tour in the near future?
We're playing a bunch of shows up here in Alaska. Everyone's getting vaccinated up here. We've got a low population and really functional vaccine distribution. I'm halfway through my vaccines. So we're going to play up here all summer and I think, Charlie, just keep our skills sharp. All my tours for the other part of the world have been canceled and postponed. So hopefully we're back out there. Me and Quinn are supposed to go to Europe this summer, but I don't know. Don't think it's going to happen. So, man, I'm just waiting until they say yes, and then I'm going, and I'll be gone. You won't even see me at my house ever. I'll be out for like 18 months, just playing shows every night, just like fall asleep on fucking the suitcase. Like, I don't care. I can't wait.
Yeah, we can't either. You've either got to come to Atlanta, or Grant and I are driving to Anchorage, because we have to see you live, man.
Hell yes, please do. Come up, man. Come up this summer. Oh, it's beautiful. Come up and party this summer. It's the best.
You've become one of our favorite bands, and we're just, the fact that you've got the Atlanta connection makes it even sweeter for us. And I feel like there's not enough people in this area of the country that know about you, and we're going to do everything we can to change that. That is for sure.
Thank you, guys.
But yeah, man, we're just huge fans, and I think Grant's been dying to ask you a question. He's been asking me all week, should I ask this? And
lay it on me, Grant.
I'll let Grant ask.
Right. So, I mean, like, obviously, in doing this, we've kind of, I've been learning about the question. He's like, dude, you don't fucking ask, like, why, don't ask about the song specifically. You don't need to know, like, it's a security number of the people who are in the song. And I'm like, no, man, but like, I'm kind of curious, dude. Like, I gotta know. So, I mean, I gotta know who's Cherry. I mean, and what was the, is that one person? Is that an entity, or is that like the Cherry slot machine you see at the end of your bar down there? I mean, what's going on with that?
Dude, Cherry is just truly, James wrote the first I Love Cherry when he was 6 years old. He just said he made it up. He just saw he had a cherry tree. And so he was like, I love Cherry. And then James and I built the Cherry character based on just like that classic girl next door who like has a shitty boyfriend that you like. It's the Peter Parker situation. We just built it off like all of our high school crushes. We combined them into one character. And there she is, riding her bike, looking great, having a shitty boyfriend, not getting enough love, having like a mom who's overprotective, not letting her out the house.
So we already know Cherry is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's the whole point, man. Like I try to write. I mean, obviously sometimes I really do have people that are like the core, but like mainly I'm just trying to write that relatable shit. And I think that's why that song's so popular, is because people are like, I love Cherry too.
I know exactly who this is. Yeah. I love that. Oh man.
Oh, shit, man. Is it time for Pete Peterson's party pack of questions?
Yeah, I think it's Pete Peterson time here.
Let's go.
Pete Peterson's the character I created. He's kind of a fast talking guy, so get ready.
Bring it on.
All right, here we go. Number 1, cash or credit?
Cash.
Paper or plastic?
Paper.
The last song you sang in the shower?
Lucky by Britney Spears.
Did you watch the documentary?
Favorite? Oh shit!
Wait, say what?
Did you watch the documentary?
No,
Oh man, it's crazy.
dude,
Ooh.
I need it. I need it so bad.
All right. Calm down,
Free
Britney
Britney.
Spears documentary.
Free Britney,
All right,
yeah.
here we free Britney. All right, a number 4. Favorite seltzer flavor.
Grapefruit.
Grapefruit. All right, he's a papplemoose guy. Let's go.
100%.
Donuts or bagels?
Bagels.
Your favorite candy?
Reese's.
Coldest temperature you've been in recently?
-11.
-11. Jeez and crackers.
That was last week.
Is Bigfoot real?
Yes, I saw 3 of them walking across the street the other day.
Oh man, a lot of follow-ups there. Got to continue press on though. Favorite pie?
Oh, cherry. Come on, baby.
God damn, I knew it. All right, best live show you have been to?
Ooh, Carly Rae Jepsen.
Oh yeah, Call Me Maybe. Is that her or is she Friday? I can't remember. No, she's Call Me Maybe.
That's Call Me Maybe.
It's Call Me Maybe. I bet she's freaking awesome.
Dude, her band was so tight, dude. It was like the best church show you've ever been to. It's like nobody missed a note. It was just fucking rock and roll. She sang perfect. I was in love. 2015, Nashville.
Wow. Beauty. All right. Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
All right. Is it caramel or caramel?
Caramel.
What's your favorite soup? It's pretty cold there. Sure, you're a soup
Ooh. Minestrone.
Minestrone. That is not one I am familiar with. Best job outside of music?
Bartending.
Bartending.
Oh, we lost
All right. Did we lose him? Oh no. We got him back.
That was Indiebnb with Nick Carpenter from Medium Build. We're
Sorry.
we'll see if we can get him back on the air. Hey guys, Anchorage is a long way away from Atlanta. I don't know how the Ethernet works, but we lost Nick. But we had a great time. Hopefully we can get him back on here, finish the party pack next time. But until later, I'm Tash. This is Grant. We're Indiebnb. Peace.
Peace.